Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a bit of a different video today. I'm actually going to be making my hamburgers from scratch. Everybody loves them. And I'm going to be using this 90% lean ground beef that I purchased from Sam's today. I'm only going to be using half of it since it's just me and my husband at the moment. So usually I like to start off with my egg. So I just crack an egg, drop it in there. I have a waste container over here on the side. And I take a fork and I just beat that until the white and the yolk is all mixed in. I know a lot of people might think that I do this a little bit backwards, but this is the way that I found works best for me. I'm going to add a little bit of the balsamic vinegar pomegranate infused. And literally it's just a little drop in there, not too much. Just to kind of give it a little bit of flavor. And I'm just going to keep whisking that. Now I'm going to add some, and forgive me if I butcher this word because I'm not sure anybody knows how to pronounce this, but I pronounce it Worcestershire sauce. And just about 3 drops of that. And I'm sorry I don't give measurements, it's just not the way I cook. But I've been thinking about what to add here on my YouTube page since I don't typically have a whole lot of videos. And like I said, my life isn't super exciting, so I'm just kind of taking you through my everyday. I'm going to add some thyme. Usually about a handful. Just drop it in there. Some dried basil. Same thing. Just a little bit in there. And lastly, a little bit of oregano. Some pepper. My husband loves pepper, so I do use a lot of it. And lastly, some salt. Because I'm making them, that's probably going to be a little bit over 4 patties, depending on how big I want to make them. I do want to add quite a lot of salt in there, just so that they're not flavorless. Just whisk that really quick. I'm going to put that to the side. I have a little shallot here that I'm actually going to be using for a sauce that's going to go with the burgers. So just very quickly, I know my knives are super dull and I haven't found a blade sharpener that I like. So this is what we're stuck with right now. I know it's probably making you cringe. I'm sorry. I might have to stop this video because my camera has a bad habit of kind of cutting me off in the middle of filming. So far, it hasn't done that. But usually when I'm in the middle of explaining something, it's when it decides to turn off on me. So I'm just slicing these really, really thin. There we go. And that's going to be, actually I might add half of this to the actual burger and then half on the actual sauce. That's probably what I'm going to do, so that I have a little bit of extra flavor on that burger. I'm just going to use this half and kind of chop it out some more. my arm is actually quite sore because I had to have a shot of lidocaine injected into my shoulder. That quite hurt, and now that the topical is wearing off, I'm feeling quite a lot of soreness on my shoulder at the moment. I'm just going to add that to my burger mixture. To be fair, I don't really follow any set recipe. Anything that I think might taste good, I just kind of add it in there. That's the way I cook. I don't usually follow any type of specific recipes. But, hey, that's how you learn, I suppose. The next thing I'm going to do is going to be half of an onion, or maybe just a little less than half. Let's see. I'll just cut the bottom of that. I might actually use a little more than what I have cut off at the moment. I'll see how much it actually renders me. Onions always make me cry. They say that there's a trick if you put them in the microwave that it'll keep your eyes from burning. I've never tried it. I might have to someday. But not today. Today we're just going to cry and power on through. I don't know if the camera's shaking or not. I have it propped up with a handle. Up on one of the shelves of my cabinet. Probably not the best setup, but hey, whatever works, I suppose. Gonna move this to the side for now. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna use just a little bit more of that onion. Not too much more. I think that's good. Take that outer layer out. That's fine. Nope, just got some onion juice in my eye. That's nice. It stings. Yeah, don't do that when you're cooking. I'm just like showing you like what not to do apparently. So, now that I have this ready, I'm just going to keep mixing it. I'm going to add half of my ground beef. Making sure I have everything here. Let's see. And the trick to that is actually not to overwork your meat too much, because that can actually make for a really stiff patty. And you don't want that. I think I'm actually going to do a quarter, because more than that actually seems quite like a lot of beef. This is more than I expected it to be. Move this little guy out of the way. And basically what I'm going to do is just kind of work this in. And while I'm doing that, I'm actually going to add some breadcrumbs, which I probably should have opened before I started the video, but hey. These are regular, just plain panko breadcrumbs. This helps keep the moisture in your ground beef. And for this recipe, I actually also use it on meatballs. I think it works really well. And if you think about it, a meatball is just a round patty. Oops. So just kind of work it with the palm of your hand to kind of get everything nicely incorporated. And I didn't believe that breadcrumbs actually made your patties juicier until I actually started using it myself and realized that it's not a myth, it's a truth. So this is obviously way more than 2 patties, so I'm probably gonna make about 4. And the remainder that I might have over, I might just go ahead and make it into meatballs. So that looks good. Gonna start off just probably about the size of the palm of my hand. And I'm gonna work it to kind of make sure that it all stays nicely put together, and just kind of firmly press it between the palms of my hand. I'm kind of OCD about how my patties look, so I do apologize if you see me kind of squishing this for a long time. So usually when I put it down in a pan, I will kind of press it down and keep it in place for a little bit, just to keep the patty from shrinking too much. But that's pretty much the size I want. It's about the same size as my burger bun. See, again, about the same size of the palm of my hand. Just working that in. And if you guys decide to make this recipe, let me know how it turns out for you guys. Again, I know that I didn't give like a ton of measurements, but just kind of the general idea on how to make this patty. Some people even add ketchup to it. I haven't tried it with that yet. I think the Worcestershire sauce with the balsamic pomegranate infused vinaigrette does just nicely as far as the amount of moisture that I want in my patty. Or even try mixing different proteins together. Actually works nice. Okay, well, it looks about even. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make 2 more patties off camera, and then I will be right back to show you the rest on how to do the sauce that goes with the top of the patties. I was originally gonna just use cheese, but I forgot to buy cheese today, so instead we're making some sort of like onion, French onion kind of deal with the patties. Okay, I'll be right back. Welcome back. I apologize if this isn't the best setup, but because my microwave is right above my kitchen stove, it makes it a little hard for me to be able to mount my phone to take video of it. So my pan is already hot, so what I'm actually going to do right now is to toast my buns. I have 2 buns here, and I like the sesame seeded ones. You can choose whichever burger buns you prefer. I have a little bit of sliver of butter, and we're just gonna toast these because the only good buns are toasted ones. I'm just gonna swish that around a little bit, kind of get it all around the pan. And literally just kind of take these in half and move it around the pan. I'm literally going to use the same pan for everything because I don't like to have a clutter of pots and pans, because then at the end that's just more stuff I'm going to end up having to clean anyway. I'm just checking on these to make sure they're nice and toasted. I'm just going to move that out of the way. That seems good enough for me. I'm going to go ahead and do that with the other buns, and then I'll be right back. Now that my buns are all nice and toasted, I'm going to go ahead and add a drizzle of olive oil onto my pan. Generous drizzle. And I'm going to start adding the onions that I cut up from earlier. Just kind of break those up a bit. I always love the smell of cooking onions. It's one of my favorite cooking smells. Let them garlic. Stir those around. Oh, that one's attached. Bottom of that one. So you get everything here unedited. So yeah, make sure that they're all nice and loose, because you do want them to kind of sear nicely. And while these cook for a little bit, when they start getting soft, I'm going to start adding my shallots, because the shallots, since they're thinner, if I add them at the same time as the onions, they're going to start burning, and then they're going to start tasting bitter, which you don't want. So while these are cooking down, I guess I could tell you a little story as far as what's going on with my job at the moment. So yeah, I'm scheduled to go back to work tomorrow after being off for 2 weeks, which I had mentioned in a previous video. They gave me a shot of lidocaine in my shoulder. Unfortunately, right now it seems like the shot of lidocaine is hurting more than the original pain I had on my arm. So that's not good. As I had mentioned before, I do work at a paint store. I'm an assistant manager at that location. And we go through a lot of orders a day, which means that I'm constantly lifting very heavy buckets all day. And that had given me an injury a couple of months ago, which re-emerged 2 to 3 weeks ago. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm knocking everything down in my kitchen right now. And if you guys like videos like this, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to kind of post more of my recipes and kind of what I do on my everyday life. If you guys like that kind of thing. I'm going to start adding my shallots. And kind of just cook those together. I was going to add some garlic to this, but then I forgot to cut it all up before I started the video, so maybe next time. I think the shallot and the onion will give it enough taste. Like I said, I usually cook on a whim. I don't really follow any type of recipe, but once I kind of figure out what I like, I tend to recreate it pretty similarly. And right now I have some shoestring French fries in the oven. They were just frozen, nothing special. I only said the burger was made from scratch. I didn't say anything about the French fries, so can't hold it against me. But I am going to be seasoning those fries with a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese, some pepper, and probably some green onions just to kind of make it pretty looking. I love green onions. If I could put green onions on everything, I literally would. So these are starting to get soft. I'll wait until they get a little bit more translucent before I start going to the next step. I am going to start adding some thyme. And with this, I find that using fresh thyme works best. But the thyme that I have right now, I'm saving for a dinner that I'm going for Thanksgiving with my family, which I'm going to be actually making a whole turkey. If you guys would like to see the recipe for that and see me kind of, obviously not cook the whole thing because that would take several hours, but the prepping for the turkey and everything, let me know and I will go ahead and upload it. And let's do a little bit of thyme. Only have dried at the moment, so that's what I'm using. And kind of just stir that about. All herbs fresh always taste a lot better, but I usually don't have the luxury of having too many of them. Because half the time I'll use a little bit and then the rest will go to waste. So for me, dried herbs work a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add, I would say probably about a teaspoon of sugar. Move that out of the way. And now stir that about. Then I have this little guy, which is concentrated beef broth. It is amazing. I had never tried it before. Then all of a sudden I saw it in the grocery store and I thought, why not? So I'm just going to do a couple squirts of that. It just makes everything taste so much better. I got the chicken version of it and I got obviously the beef. And with that, a little goes a long way. So I'm going to start adding a little bit of water to this. And I just go a little bit of time to the consistency that I want, just so that all of this can start reducing together. I don't want the sauce to be too loose, but I want to have enough liquid in there to kind of really simmer down those onions. So I don't want anything crunchy when I bite into it. I want it to be nice and soft. And let's add a little bit of pepper. Just a tad, not too much. And again, we're a pepper family. Put pepper on everything. Same thing with garlic. And even with as much pepper as I use, my husband always adds extra pepper to everything. That and hot sauce. So I'm going to let this cook down for a little bit. See, like that to me is a little too raw at the moment. I want that to all be nice and translucent. I don't want the temperature on the pan to be too high either, because you don't want to burn your sauce, because again, that will make it bitter. So I'm going to reduce this for a little bit and then I will be back. Okay, so my sauce has reduced enough to the consistency that I want. What I'm going to do right now is just add a little bit of salt. And just stir that together really well. And I'm gonna take this off the pan. Because we are going to cook our burger patties right in the same pan. So I just scrape off as much as I can off of that pan. Which, by the way, these silicone spoons I got at Walmart for like $2, and they are absolutely amazing. I love them, and I think the color is so cute. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And if you're wondering what I did with the rest of the beef, that's it right there. I made it into these lovely meatballs, which we're probably going to end up eating tomorrow. Maybe some nice spaghetti sauce to go with that. I got another drizzle of olive oil. Okay. And now I'm actually going to switch to a spatula instead of this little guy for my burger patties. That's how they turned out. So I'm going to lay it down. And they say if you do a whole, like, push the middle down, it'll keep the patty from shrinking. I haven't really particularly seen that work for me. So I just kind of hold it down. I'm not pressing too hard because I don't want to make the juices of the burger come out. I just want to keep it from shrinking while the bottom gets a nice brown layer. And I'm not one of those people that likes their burgers like medium. I like mine well done. I don't want to see any amount of pink in the middle, which is why I really like this recipe, because although the burgers are well done, they're really nice and tender and juicy on the inside when you bite into it, and that has to do with a mixture of that wet ingredients that you use, the balsamic vinegar, the Worcestershire sauce, the breadcrumbs, your egg. All of that serves as a binder to keep your burger nice and soft. That and not overworking your burger when you're trying to kind of put it together. See, I think that's what works best for me. I don't see as much shrinkage when I do it this way. And if you actually look at how they cook their burgers in Five Guys, they actually do the same thing. They kind of press the burger down in place to keep that shrinkage from happening. And I'm only going to cook one burger for you guys. My husband isn't home from work yet, so I'm going to cook his when he gets home. But I will show you guys the assembly of how I prep my burger. It's very simple, really. Got a burger in the bun, and then just add the onion right over the top of it. It would be a lot better if I actually had some cheese, which unfortunately I don't think I have. I'll give it a last check before I finish assembling everything. Let's take a look at this. I'm one of those that flips a lot. I know, I'm a flipper. But the reason I do that is to kind of prevent the burger from shrinking too much. It's just one of those little OCD things that I do. And while that's actually cooking on that side, I'm going to go ahead and take a look in my fridge and see if I have any cheese. Hopefully I do. Looks like I have some Parmesan cheese, so why not, right? I'll add that when the burger is cooked to the temperature that I prefer. I'm gonna start grabbing a plate here. I apologize for the noise. Okay. Putting a plate to the side. I know half of you guys are probably thinking like, what is she doing? That is so overcooked. And half of you are probably thinking like, oh, that's exactly how a burger should be cooked. No pink inside. I'm one of those no pink inside kind of gals. But regardless of what temperature you like your burger, you need to make sure that it's nice and golden brown on the outside. Just because if you don't have your burger nice and brown, it's not going to be very flavorful. So definitely getting that sear on the outside helps flavor-wise with your burger. I feel like I'm rambling on, but I don't like these awkward silences in videos when I'm filming, so if I'm talking too much, please let me know. I'm going to go check on my fries, and then I will be right back. So the fries needed a little bit more time to finish cooking, so I added a little bit more time on that. They're in the oven. So my patty's looking pretty good. I'm going to try to get the cheese right on top. I know some of it's going to fall in the pan. That's fine. I have nonstick, so I know it's not going to stick to my pan, so I'm not really too worried about that. Okay. Now I'm going to take a lid and just put it right over the top, just to kind of let that cheese melt a little bit. If you guys could smell that, it smells amazing. But of course, I'm going to say that because I'm making it, right? So I have my bun top and my bun bottom. And I'm just going to let that melt down for a little bit. What covering does is basically it just kind of allows the heat to stay inside the pan so that the cheese gets nice and melted. If I had a broiler, then by all means I would try to broil the top, but since I don't, this is the second best alternative. It still needs a little bit more time in there. I start putting stuff away while that is melting. Yeah, I'm the type of cook that likes to clean while I go. That way I don't have amount of dirty dishes by the time I'm finished cooking. So, because it's no fun when you have a good dinner and then all of a sudden you turn around and you have like 20 dishes that you need to wash. And by the way, I wanted to show you guys this. This is my cute little olive oil dispenser. I bought it from Amazon and it comes in a pack of 2. I use one for vinegar and then I use this one for my olive oil. I think it's just so adorable. And so far it's worked really well for me as far as how it dispenses, so I'm really happy with it. Alright, so watch the seam. I think that's good. I'm gonna take my burger bottom, take that cheese off that pan. Watch your fingers, don't burn them with that delicious melty cheese. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if there's a way that I can show you this on camera. My setup isn't the best, I'm sorry. So I have my onions here, and I'm just gonna take a spoonful of that and pour it right over the top. This is definitely a messy burger, so you are going to need a plate if you don't want to start making a mess all over the place like I am right now. I just kind of wanted to show you guys. Of course, I'm dropping some of the sauce in the pan. That's fine. So there we go. That's it topped off. Let's move this out of the way. And I'm going to go up and cook the rest. And I'm not going to add any extra oil because there's plenty of oil there. I'm literally just going to go ahead and drop the next patty right in. And do the same method. Just hold that down until it creates a nice sear on the bottom. So if you see on that one, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's a perfect burger ratio all around. I can't tilt it because I have that onion sauce on it and I don't want it spilling everywhere. But as soon as the fries are done, I will take them out of the oven and show you guys the finished plate. Alright, so while the other burgers cook, I'm just going to go ahead and season these with a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. I'm going to add some just regular grated Parmesan cheese. Got a good shake. And just generously coat those. I'll take my spatula and kind of mix all the goodies together. Now you want to do these right as they come out of the oven. That way the cheese, because the fries are hot, will actually want to stick to the fries. And that's why I have a rag underneath my pan, because it just came out of the oven and it's too hot to go just straight onto the counter. And to be fancy, just go ahead and add a couple of green onions. A little tip about green onions. The dark green portions are great to eat raw, while the lighter green and the white is great to cook with. If you actually cook with the lighter green and white portion of the green onion, it tastes very similar to a regular onion. So you see on a lot of Asian or even Asian fusion cuisines, you see that they will use the whites to cook and then the regular greens to just use for some sort of garnish over the top. Alright, so that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and start plating this. And if you want, you can actually also just add the green onions over the top of your fries once you've actually plated them. But I like to mix them in together. Let's just move this little guy out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my burger just so that you guys can see what it looks like right down the middle. And I squished that bun to hell. I know. But, you see, that is nice and juicy. Although it is well done, you can see all of those juices in there. It is going to be amazing. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. And again, if there's any particular recipe that you would like for me to go ahead and try out and make out for you guys, I'll be more than happy to do so. Please let me know what you think of this recipe on the comments down below. Any comments, questions, concerns, I will be more than happy to try to address them as promptly as possible. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button down below. Thank you so much and have a good night.